Hi there, my name is Ariel Reesner, and I want to talk to you about my experience volunteering at my local food bank. Um, so the thing is that I it was mandatory for me to volunteer. It wasn't like community service because I'm a felon or something, like as great as I think that is too. But I am a student, and part of being a student is sometimes you have to volunteer. And I volunteered for 25 hours over 6 weeks, and that was about 8 to 11 hours every week. And I, at first, was really bummed that I had to volunteer, and that's how I looked at it. I had to volunteer. I was not excited about it. It was just another thing on my to-do list that I had to do, another chore that I had to do that I did not want to do. And I will tell you, my first day there was exhausting. I was tired by the end of it. It was manual labor for 2 hours while I was there. And it was a lot of it. It was lifting heavy boxes. It was doing repetitive motions over and over. Sometimes I would you get those little bags of like Cheetos and things, and you stuff them into slightly bigger bags with a lot of different chips so that they can get a variety of chips. Or I would repackage big 25-pound bags of flour into smaller bags of flour, which was like a repetitive scooping motion, but also lifting 25-pound bags of flour. There was 25-pound bags of powdered milk as well, so it was just like cases of corn, cases of tomatoes, anything you can think of that might be at a food bank, cases of beans. It was lifting manual labor or repetitive motions. So it was physically taxing on my body, and it was hard to get used to at first. But when I did get used to it, I will say that even when I was tired, but especially when I did get used to it, I felt this sense of pride when I was at the food bank. When I was there was always a tangible ending. I would fill 4 carts with bags of chips. I would fill 3 boxes with bags of flour. I would wrap up 3 cartons of eggs. There was always a tangible end, a tangible progress to what I was doing, and that was really helpful because I could leave feeling really accomplished. It was just like putting in my effort and seeing a result to it before I even left the building. It was really, really rewarding. And during the time, of course, we're in a time of economic instability right now. And during that time, I had these moments where I could just focus on what I was doing at the food bank, and I didn't have to worry about what was going on with my president. I didn't have to worry about what was going on at home in my finances. I didn't have to worry about anything except for, as one volunteer put it, stacking the cans, one can on top of another can. It was just like, focus on your one task and keep doing it over and over. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can just get this one task done. And also, it helped me feel a sense of community. I met people while I was working there, or while I was volunteering there, that I would have never met if I hadn't volunteered there. For example, I met an artist who writes thriller books and does really cool drawings and like tries to teach other people how to draw, and that's what he does in life. And he wants me to be a part of his focus group for his thriller novels, which I was like, that's so cool. I would love to do that. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of thriller novels, but I'm also not a fan of thriller novels, so it wouldn't be like boring to me to read it. And I met another woman she was a mental health counselor for her whole life. And eventually, with her mental health counseling degree, she went into consulting. And what's really ironic about meeting her is in the last couple of months, I got a job at a financial advisory firm, and part of what they do is consulting on businesses. And something I love in life is data and numbers and cost analysis. And I was talking to my coworker about, like, if I weren't going to be a psychology major, what I would do is cost analysis for businesses, but I would like find out why they do the things they do before I just cut the costs. And she said, that's just advisory work. That's just consulting work. So this woman that I met was a consultant with a mental health counseling degree, and I'm working towards a mental health counseling degree, but I'm also working for an advisory firm that does the same thing the woman with the mental health counseling degree did. So I mean, the universe works in mysterious ways, but it was like, felt like I was meant to meet that woman, and I would have never met her if it wasn't for the food bank. And so I also met people who were working for the school districts. While I was there, I found out that one of my local communities, 94% of their school district is on free and reduced lunches, so they're within the poverty guidelines. That's really hard to hear, that my local community is in poverty and that they're struggling and that there's nothing I can do about it. But there is something I can do about it. I can go into the food bank and I can volunteer my time, and I can do something rewarding with my time by helping these people get the food items that they need. And the food bank doesn't just stop at giving out food for the food bank. They also have 4 other programs. There's a rural program where they go into, we are in Montana, so we're in a rural area. We have small towns around here. I mean, I know many of you are like, Montana horses, but like, there are towns that are like, 500 people here. There are towns here that are 2,000 people, they're small towns. And part of the food bank program is to go into those small towns and give the food assets that are needed. There's also 2 commodity programs, one for children and one for over 60. The one for children is a backpack program, so over the weekends, while they're at school, every Friday, they get sent home with a bag of food that will give them lunches, breakfast, and snacks. Dinner, they can't provide that much, so they do what they can, and they do a lot. I made a lot of those backpack packs while I was there, and it was very rewarding to know that children were going to continue to be fed. And they also, the commodity program for over 60, so if you're a senior citizen and you can't afford to get your meals from even just Walmart, like, you can get the commodities from the government and the food bank, and they will help you sustain until the end of the month. And they also have the food bank program as well. But within that food bank program, they don't just stop there. They also, the town that I was talking about that has the 94% free and reduced lunch rate, they also donate foods to their, what are they called? Like a food pantry inside the school. They donate food to that. And so some people are double dipping from the food bank because of that program, and it does help feed families and keep them going in a time where there's just not enough to make it through to the end of the month. So it's nice to see them giving back. I also, while I was there, worked out getting donations from my coworkers, and I would bring them in. They would bring them in to me at work, and I would take them into the food bank for them. Brought in quite a bit of donations, and one of the things that I asked while I was there is, like, what do you need the most of right now at the food bank? And at the current time, they needed dry dog food. They had plenty of everything else, so they needed dry dog food. And so I put a call out to, I asked actually, can you take open things of dog food, because I had one at home that my dogs couldn't eat. And he said yes, so I took that in there, and then I put a call out to my coworkers, and we brought in several bags of dog food for the food bank. And what was the best part is I got to finish the cycle. I brought it in, and then I got to bag it up for the people who were in need of dry dog food. They don't just stop at dog food either. They also do cat food. They also do baby food and formula. They do diapers for adults and babies. And they do like toothpaste, toothbrushes, personal care items. They get nutrition supplements sometimes, so they donate those as well. All sorts of, there was stevia while I was there, and electrolytes, and calcium supplements, and hot sauce, and mayonnaise. And one of the things that I overheard someone say was it was good to see Parmesan cheese there. So these things that I take for granted, I always have Parmesan cheese in my fridge, but I take it for granted that not everybody has access to those things. In the end, it was very rewarding to do this time, and I've actually decided to continue my time volunteering. It won't be as much as I was for school, because I will also be doing classes and work and other things on top of this, but I've decided to once a week take me and my 7-year-old in to volunteer to help just as much as we can every week in the time that we're allotted. Maybe an hour and a half every week is what we will do, but it's more than enough. It's more than enough. There's a creator on YouTube named Shell Bizzle. She is a sustainability, expert? Something like that. But she always says, you cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good you can do. Tearing up a little thinking about that, because I did some good in this time, and I want to continue doing good. And I can't tell you enough how amazing I feel when I leave the food bank and I see my hard work, and I see the effects of people in and out of there getting their food and being able to last a little longer, because they get dignity and they get compassion from the people at the food bank. And I just think it's important to give back to our communities. So I'm going to continue to do this, but on top of that, I also have started donating blood this year. So it is a personal mission of mine to give back to my community in ways that I can, and the more I have done it, the more I want to do. So this is just my call to action to the rest of you, to say, do the good you can do, because the world needs it. And any 1 hour and a half, half an hour, anything you can do, 1 pint of blood once a year, anything you can do is the good the world needs. So let's all just continue on this path, and if you have questions, let me know. I am here. Reach out as a resource, and let's just keep going. Let's keep our community strong, and let's unite together as one. So thank you so much for listening. You guys have a wonderful day.